ANS News Video. The April edition of ANS News Video Bulletin carries some of the important and interesting news. The animation visit of the Rector Major to Zimbabwe and Zambia, where provincial chapters and many initiatives that bring great joy and hope to the Salesian mission around the world. Rome Generalate. Canonization of Blessed Archimedes Zati. April 9, 2022 was a day of extreme joy for the Salesian family. Pope Francis authorized the Congregation for the Causes of Saints to promulgate the decree on the miracle attributed to the intercession of Blessed Archimedes Zati, which means that Archimedes Zati will be proclaimed soon a saint of the Catholic Church. The date for the canonization will be decided by the Pope during an ordinary consistory. The sanctification of Archimedes Zati comes more than 70 years after the canonization of Saint Dominic Savio and constitutes the first recognition of the holiness of the professed laymen of the Salesian Society. The Rector Major, filled with happiness, expressed his deep gratitude and retraced some of the important stages of his life of holiness. The immense gratitude was expressed by Pierluigi Cameroni, Postulator General for the Causes of Saints of the Salesian Congregation, who spoke in detail on the miracle attributed to Archimedes Zati, the healing of a man in the Philippines suffering from ischemia. School of Salesian Spiritual Accompaniment. The Formation Sector organized a live-in school titled the School of Salesian Spiritual Accompaniment from 4th April to 5th May. 20 Salesians took part in this experience. During these 4 weeks, the participants were accompanied to the places where the Salesian spirituality was lived and developed by Don Bosco, such that they could discover and trace the saint's footsteps and follow him in the path of profound growth. The school was conducted by a team of 5 Salesians led by Brother Raymond Cayo in response to the 4th recommendation offered by the Rector Major after the 28th General Chapter. The Feast of the Vice Province of Salesian Pontifical University. The Feast of the Vice Province, Mary Seat of Wisdom, of the Salesian Pontifical University was celebrated on 25th April. Like every year, it was a moment of family union for the Salesians and other members working in the Vice Province. A total of 310 members of 54 different nationalities and active in various roles, 115 incarnated in the Vice Province as professors or for other services, and 195 as students. Among the latter, 148 Salesians, 46 diocesan priests, and 1 religious. It was an event of joyful communion in which the moments of meeting and celebration reminded all the members of the Vice Province of the importance of the formation mandate inherited from Don Bosco. The joy of coming together was translated into songs, performances, and activities through which the Salesians showed that they are one heart and one soul at the service of young people. Workshop on Communication and Formation. On 29th and 30th April, the Salesian Pontifical University organized the Salesian Communication Days, an event created in 2012 to foster education to communication among young Salesians and the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians in initial formation. About 130 members took part in these workshops marked by sharing, communion, encounter and spirituality. The first event of the day was a talk by the Cambodian missionary Father Julio Albanese on the theme of the Pope's message for World Communications Day 2022, Listening with the Ears of the Heart. The days were filled with group sharing, the prayer moments and moments of relaxation. Good night talk by Father Maria Arokium Kanaga, Superior of the UPS Vice Province. The Eucharist by Father Gildasio Mendes, Counselor for Social Communication. The presentation of seminar papers and workshops conducted by experts from various fields. All these moments enriched the participants, giving them a precious opportunity to get to know each other and exchange their thoughts and experiences. Africa, Madagascar. Visit of the Rector Major to Zimbabwe. The Rector Major visited Zimbabwe from the 21st to the 24th of April. After receiving a festive welcome at the Zimbabwe International Airport, Father Angel Fernandes Artime proceeded to the Salesian community, Don Bosco Wange, where he was accorded an official reception by the young people of Wange, Harare and Rundo. The Rector Major then continued his visit by meeting with the members of the educational pastoral community of Wange, with whom he discussed projects for the development of the local Salesian presence and blessed the foundation stone for secondary school. During his stay, Father Angel Fernandes Artime also met the local bishop, Monsignor Rafael Mahebo Mabuso Kube, with whom he shared profound reflections on the Salesian presence in the country. Visit of the Rector Major to Zambia. From the 24th to the 29th of April, the Rector Major carried out a pastoral visit to Zambia to participate in the celebrations that mark the 40 years of Salesian presence in the country. To celebrate this important milestone, the 10th successor of Don Bosco presided over the solemn Mass of Thanksgiving, accompanied by symbolic gestures of the local culture. At the heart of the Rector Major's visit were the young people with whom he spent long moments of dialogue and with whom he shared profound reflections, always passionately inviting them to pursue their dreams. During the visit, Father Angel Fernandes Artime also blessed the new science laboratory and school building of Kabwe and laid the foundation stone for the Don Bosco Rehabilitation Center and a chapel that will be dedicated to the future saint Artimide Zati. Provincial chapter of the Madagascar Vice Province. From the 22nd to the 24th of April, the Salesian province of Mary Immaculate of Madagascar celebrated its 10th provincial chapter in Ivato. The Apostolic Nuncio, Monsignor Paolo Rocco Gualtieri, and the Bishop of Moramanga, Monsignor Rosario Vella, SDB, graced the inauguration of the chapter. The Nuncio, after presiding over the inaugural Eucharistic celebration of the chapter, held a conference to reflect together with the chapter fathers. The moderator, Father Rakotondro Naivo Ariso Jose Gaston, coordinated the work of the 31 participants in the chapter, which included 2 invited guests. Father Innocent Bizimana, MDG Superior, invited the chapter members to make their own the appeal of the Rector Major to reflect on our identity as Salesians for the youth of today. Provincial Chapter of the African Tropical Equatorial Province. The 8th Provincial Chapter of the Our Lady of Africa of Tropical Equatorial African Province was held from 18th to 24th April. The 19 chapter members were gathered in the St. Augustine Theologate in Colafem to reflect together on the theme, I remind you to revive the gift of God within you. Father Frank Pare was the moderator. The 3 areas on which the chapter members focused their discussions were the priority of the mission with young people, the profile of the Salesian today, and the shared mission of Salesians and lay people. For the chapter members, it was a spiritual moment as well as moments of coming together and mutual listening and making apostolic choices that favor the growth of the confreres, the life of the communities, and the young people most in need. America Southern Core. Brazil. The Passion of the Christ show raises funds for Ukraine. On 12th and 19th April, the Salesians of Bahia staged the play The Passion of Christ to the public at the Nazare and the Paralela. All the proceeds were donated to the Dom Bosco Pela Ukrainia campaign to fund the victims of the war in Ukraine. On 12th April, the former students of the Salesian College of Salvador performed at the theatre of the Institute of Nazare, while on the 19th April, the team from the Salesian College, Dom Bosco, performed 2 shows at the auditorium of Paralela. Argentina. Assembly of Salesian Cooperators. On Saturday, 9th April, the Assembly of the Salesian Cooperators of the Argentinian province of Buenos Aires North was held at the Salesian House, San Antonio, in the Almagro district of the capital. After the presentation of the 2022 agenda of the Provincial Council and the situation of the province, the Assembly began a process of participatory and communitarian reflection. The aim of the meeting was to identify the strengths and weaknesses to guide the action of the Salesian cooperators in responding to the needs of young people. East Asia, Oceania. Philippines. The Salesian Family Vocation Festival. The event, Homebound, where love remains in God's embrace. The Salesian Family's Vocations Festival was held on the 21st April on Zoom, YouTube and Facebook Live. The complex event was organized by Father Jason B. David, responsible for vocations promotion in the Philippines North Province, in collaboration with the various sectors of the Salesian Family and some social pages with a large following in the country. The aim of the event was to promote and share among the youth of the Philippines the rich history of the 10 groups of the Salesian Family present in the Philippines, in the hope that they will become part of it in the near future. Provincial Chapter of the Province of Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands. The second provincial chapter of the Salesian province of Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands was held in Boroko, Port Moresby, from 10th to the 13th of April. The 19 chapter members worked on the theme, "What type of Salesians for the youth of today?" In his opening address, the PGS Superior, Father Gregory Bikomong, welcomed Father Joseph Walk, Counselor for the East Asia-Oceania region, who was concluding his extraordinary visitation at the Vice Province. The chapter, moderated by Father Pedro Sashitula, focused on the 8 programmatic proposals of the Rector Major and deepened the reflections of Father Pascual Chavez on the theme of the centrality of mission. Taiwan. Tainan School's environmental projects. Throughout the academic year, the Salesian Technical School in Tainan, Taiwan, devoted its attention to the development and implementation of an extensive ecological campaign. The students of the school carried out a wide variety of initiatives and events throughout this time. The programs focused on the theme of ecological protection through waste separation, reuse of waste materials and repair of broken objects. Provincial Chapter of St. John Bosco Province of Vietnam. The Provincial Chapter of the St. John Bosco Province of Vietnam was held from the 20th to the 26th April at the Salesian Retreat Center in Kelong. 72 members participated in the chapter that was moderated by Father Ngoc Wing. The main contents of the 7 days of chapter discussions were the implementation of the Rector Major's objectives given to the whole congregation after the 28th General Chapter, the implementation of the 2019 Provincial Chapter, the quality of formation, solidarity, and economic self-sufficiency of the Salesian presence in Vietnam, and the organization of long-term work. South Asia. Bangalore. BoscoNet launches YESS Forum. On 22nd April, on the occasion of World Earth Day, the YES Forum, Youth Empowerment for Sustainability and Social Impact, was held at the Taj West End in Bangalore. The event, organized by BoscoNet, Don Bosco Network, aimed at presenting the current sustainable initiatives involving the Salesian network and its related realities. Many prominent personalities took part in the event. 4 areas of interest for collaboration were discussed: education for all, skills for sustainable livelihoods, climate initiatives, and gender equity. By disseminating good practices and innovative development ideas, the YES Forum aims to open up new ways of maximizing the effectiveness of social initiatives in favor of young people. Shillong. A concert in favor of Ukraine. On 2nd April, the internationally renowned Aroha Choir Shillong, in collaboration with the Don Bosco Youth Center Shillong, organized a fundraising concert for the war-affected population of Ukraine. Venetia K. Warshong, the choir's soprano singer and winner of the prestigious Lillian Dunn Lingdaw Mavlong Award, captivated the audience with classical and opera pieces in 6 different European languages.
Memories are timeless treasures of joys that we once knew. Like buried longings from the time we carried. All the things that brought that joy and pain, sunshine.
She was accompanied by renowned pianist Pauline Warger, founder of the Aroha Choir and Aroha Children's Choir, and piano teacher. The concert, promoted by Father Michael Macri, was also attended by Father Ofindro Linkcott, superior of the Salesian province of Shillong, and other authorities. Kolkata. Jubilee celebrations of the confreres. On 24th April 2022, Salesians of Kolkata province, India, celebrated the Jubilee of the confreres in the province. 4 Salesians celebrated their Golden Jubilee, 50 years of Salesian life. Father David Mondol, Father Thomas Gomes, Father Matthew Parakonat, and Brother Theophilus Tirki. 3 Salesians celebrated the Silver Jubilee, 25 years. Father Anandaraj, Father Nobi George, and Brother Lawrence Mondol. The celebrations started with a spectacular, typical traditional dance in which about 40 people took part. The event then continued with the Jubilee Mass, attended by many Salesians and parishioners from Lilua, who, with their songs and dances, made the celebration more participative and animated. The day then continued with a well-organized cultural program during which all the celebrants were felicitated. The celebration was a moment of great joy after the difficult years marked by the pandemic. Central and Northern Europe. A thought for Ukraine. Thoughts on the situation in Ukraine continue to be alive in our hearts, urging us to approach the current situation with an empathetic gaze and solidarity in the hope that the war may end soon. More than 60 days have already passed since the outbreak of the conflict, and the violence seems to show no sign of retreat. But against this tragic backdrop of darkness, the Salesians continue to respond with their lives, ceaselessly providing assistance to the affected population. Nearly 11 million displaced persons and almost 5 million refugees in countries neighboring Ukraine give us an idea of the scale of the human tragedy that the Salesians continue to face. The Sons of Don Bosco continue to be close to these people in a number of ways. They provide moral assistance, healing people spiritually and bringing them comfort, and they provide material support, continuing to welcome the fleeing population, helping those who remain in their cities, and delivering food to displaced families. Provincial chapter of the province of Hungary. The 12th provincial chapter of Hungary was held at Pályfolcsánkereszт from the 27th of March to the 1st of April, in which 15 members participated. The chapter focused on the Rector Major's program of action, reflections on the growth of the Salesian identity, the sacrament of presence among the youth, the collaboration with the laity, and the priority of the poorest and most needy youth. The moderator of the chapter was Father De Rossi Raja, the Vice Provincial. He also coordinated the work of revising the provincial directory and voting on the final document of the chapter. Provincial chapter of the province of Eastern Poland. From the 19th to the 23rd in Porszewica, near Lodz, the provincial chapter of the Salesians of St. Stanislaus Kostka, province of Warsaw, was held on the theme Making Our Life the Salesian Sacrament of Presence. The aim of the chapter, moderated by Father Piotr Sosnowski, was to help outline the lines of action for the coming years and at the same time to make the necessary changes according to the spiritual discernment carried out in the light of the charism of St. John Bosco. The 65 chapter members, therefore, reflected on how to give substance to the Salesian charism in the concrete reality, also in the light of the war in Ukraine and the wide Salesian involvement in operations to help refugees. Provincial chapter of the province of North Poland. The 14th provincial chapter of the Salesians of the province of St. Adalbert in Pila, PLN, was held from April 19th to the 23rd in the shrine of Our Lady of Lichen and was attended by 72 Salesians. The chapter was moderated by Father Mariusz Shamarszuk. The theme chosen for this edition of the provincial chapter was the Sacrament of Presence, that is, the Salesian identity, which was expressed in a series of passionate discussions on the Salesian presence in the province, from youth ministry to formation, from data on Salesian structures to the humanitarian vocation of the Sons of Don Bosco. It was a precious moment of confrontation in which the contribution of each of the chapter fathers helped to renew the fervor in the province. Provincial chapter of the South Poland province. The provincial chapter of the St. Hyacinth province of South Poland was held from the 19th to the 23rd April. The capitulars, under the guidance of the moderator Father Zygmunt Kostka, gathered in the Salesian Theologate in Krakow to begin their work. The main theme of the provincial chapter was Presence, Salesian Sacrament, a leitmotif that then guided the various discussions during the chapter sessions. The closing of the provincial chapter coincided with the conclusion of the extraordinary visit of Father Romano Jakimowicz, counselor for the Central and Northern European region, who provided valuable indications for the future of the Salesian presence in the province. Czech Republic, celebrating International Gypsy Day. On Saturday, the 9th of April, the Salesian Youth Center in České Budějovice organized a day of events to mark International Gypsy Day, which has been celebrated in the Czech Republic since 2001. More than 200 visitors who took part in the day enjoyed a rich cultural program that included music and dances typical of Gypsy culture, games for children and handicraft activities. However, the event was only the culmination of a week of preparatory activities during which the Salesian Center organized cultural outreach programs and dance classes. Inter-America. Provincial chapter of the province of Colombia, Medellin. The provincial chapter of the St. Luis Bertrando, province of Colombia, Medellin, took place from 24th to the 29th of April at Villalizales in Copacabana, the venue for the chapter in which 35 members participated. The discussions were centered around the recommendations of the 28th General Chapter and deepening the orientations presented by the Rector Major and his council. Father Miguel Ángel Garcia, General Counselor for Salesian Youth Ministry, was among the special guests who took part in the chapter. Colombia, Bogota, Provincial Chapter. The provincial chapter of the province of St. Peter Claver in Colombia, Bogota, was held from 24th to 29th April. The chapter, held in the Salesianum Spirituality House in Fusagasugá, brought together 34 members who, in a fraternal atmosphere, experienced days of discernment and evaluation of the work of the provincial community. The work was coordinated by the moderator, Father John Jairo Gomez Rua, and had the objective of reflecting on the 28th General Chapter and implementing the programmatic lines indicated by the Rector Major. Mediterranean. Jerusalem. The Salesian community of Ratisbon in the Palm Sunday procession on its way to Jerusalem. The Salesian community of Ratisbon participated in the traditional Palm Sunday procession held annually in Jerusalem, playing an important role in animating the faithful present. A festive crowd lined the road between Beit Faj on the Mount of Olives and Jerusalem, the same route that Jesus took to enter the city to celebrate the Passover. Thousands of worshippers and pilgrims came for the traditional procession, the first one to be held after the restrictions due to the pandemic were relaxed. Along the way, there was music and songs from the various groups and communities, expressing the joy of Christians who, at the beginning of Holy Week, wanted to follow Jesus on his path. Provincial chapter of the Southern Italy province. The 27th provincial chapter of the province of Blessed Michael Rua in southern Italy was held between 4th to the 7th of April. The 58 members who took part in the chapter, moderated by Father Gianpaolo Roma, were able to specify the priorities and lines of action that the Provincial Council will have to implement over the next 6 years. The main themes discussed were the areas of the charismatic identity of the consecrated person, the mission in southern Italy, the involvement of the laity, and openness to the urgent issues of the world. Provincial chapter of the province of Sicily and Tunisia. The 31st provincial chapter of the Salesians of Sicily and Tunisia took place from 22nd to 25th April. The 55 members of the chapter, 5 of whom were lay people, met at the St. Thomas Institute in Messina to reflect and discuss the future of the Salesian mission. The work, coordinated by the moderator, Father Arnaldo Riggi, culminated in the elaboration of a first draft of reflection on the redefinition of the presence in the province. The chapter also had a distinct ecological footprint, with a view to respecting the common home. It was decided to use paper only when strictly necessary, making the most of digital media. Italy. The President of the Republic visits the Bierzi Salesian Center. On Friday, the 29th of April 2022, the President of the Italian Republic, Sergio Mattarella, visited the Bierzi Salesian Institute in Udine. The head of state's visit to the Salesian Institute was in memory of Lorenzo Parelli, the 18-year-old student at the institute who lost his life in an accident on the 21st of January while working in a factory to learn a trade. The president was welcomed by hundreds of students from the school, as well as various local authorities such as the president of the region, Massimiliano Fedriga, the mayor of the city, Pietro Fontanini, Archbishop of Udine, Monsignor Andrea Bruno Mozzacato. The President Mattarella met privately with the family of the deceased boy, then with the pupils of the primary and secondary schools, and visited the laboratories and workshops of the Salesian Institute, showing great interest in the pupils' activities. After appreciating the great commitment of the team of teachers and students, the President concluded his visit with a speech on young people, work and safety. Provincial Chapter of the Province of Spain, Mary Help of Christians. From 18th to the 22nd of April, the Salesian Province of Spain, Mary Help of Christians, held its third provincial chapter in the Seminary House of Malaga. The participants, 130 Salesians and 18 lay people, came from the Salesian presences of the various regions to discuss on the theme, the priority of the Salesian mission among the youth of today. The chapter, moderated by Brother Juan Bosco Sancho, was also attended by Father Marcelo Farfan, who is making an extraordinary visit to the province. Provincial Chapter of the Province of Spain, St. James the Major. The Provincial Chapter of Spain, St. James the Major Province, was held in Salamanca from 18th to 22nd April. This chapter, in which 117 Salesians and 10 lay guests participated, had the task of implementing in the province the Rector Major's programmatic lines indicated after the General Chapter 28. These reflections then resulted in documents that the chapter offered to the Provincial Council to elaborate the provincial organic project. The chapter, moderated by Father Javier Valiente, was also able to count on the valuable contribution of the lay team, which presented a profound reflection on the role of the laity in the Salesian presence. The April edition of ANS News Video ends here. We thank you for being with us again this month and we look forward to seeing you in the next edition of May. Don't miss it.